This is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and this is a bad and sad. One of these is my second favourite game from 2008, but both are delicious. Just try and name another game where you can do this. You can't. Well, maybe in the sequel for the Wii U and 3DS, but that remains to be seen. Nothing could prepare me for how fast this game loads. Done! And look at the brilliance that came with it. This is quite an amazing spectacle, even though the Wii isn't an especially powerful console or anything. This is one damn fine looking game. And it plays brilliantly too. Super Smash Bros. Brawl is a masterpiece. Note, Jules is me. I'm playing quite terribly since I haven't played in roughly 3 years, and I've never used a GameCube controller for this game before. You know, I haven't really used a GameCube controller for a long period of time in anything before. And Lily and Noah are my young siblings, so don't bash them for not being ultra competitive either. Anyway, enough about me. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. What a game. If you have a Wii, this is the game. There, done. There are no questions. This is the highlight of the Wii's library, along with a few other things, like the great No More Heroes, and I don't know, a few other Mario titles perhaps, but this is essentially the killer app of the system, just like the previous Super Smash Bros. Games have been for their respective consoles. Then again, don't kill me, but I've never played Melee. I've played the original very briefly when I was very young, but this is the only one I've sunk a significant amount of time into. Back onto the subject of reviewing it. Well, okay, it's a giant homage to everything Nintendo. Around 40, not quite 40, something a bit lower, maybe 38, 37, roughly that many characters, a whole bunch of stages, and all of which have been pulled from various Nintendo franchises and thrown together into this crazy mishmash of a game. It works brilliantly though. Here I am fighting on a giant Game & Watch. But characters and stages aside, the game is still jam-packed with other little Nintendo cameos from various other characters from the most obscure games that you could think of. Picking up an assist trophy and throwing it down to the ground could summon up a giant Nintendog to cover up the whole screen. Throwing a Pokeball you find on the ground could summon a random Pokemon to flail itself about and just cause havoc for 20 seconds. Even those Maxim tomatoes from Kirby, you can eat those. They give you health. Well, actually, rather unusually for a fighting game, this one doesn't depend on health at all. True to its completely insane, fast-paced nature, your only job is to just bash everyone off the screen as fast as you can. Which means anything that starts off as a good, clean fight will finish as madcap insanity. There is tons of content to keep absolutely anyone satiated for many hours. Hell, if you like, you can team up as Solid Snake and the robotic operating buddy and beat up Rayquaza. Again, as I stated in the opening of my video, no other game lets you do this. Or Snake can go play baseball. Fair enough. I'm really terrible at this baseball game. It's hard. I love playing as Snake, and while I have no idea what he's doing in this game, I don't really care. Perhaps that since Brawl is set in 2008, this is what Snake did in his gap year between the Tanker and Plant chapters of MGS2. Okay, anyway, back on topic. I've been saying this too many times. There's also this story mode, which is interesting. It's a side-scrolling platformer, rather than it all being on the screen at once. It still isn't a substitute for the main game, but it at least teaches you the fundamentals of how it works, and is interesting nonetheless. There's also an online mode, but I've never tried it. I've never gone online at all with my Wii. It's not exactly a large community. And besides, the whole idea of Super Smash Bros. Was essentially getting 4 people in a room, laughing, shouting at each other, punching each other in real life and in the game too, and just having a grand old time. If you have a Wii, you need this game. I don't need, but you know. Owning a Wii and not owning Super Smash Bros. Brawl is like owning a dishwasher and not owning any cutlery. Yeah, that was a terrible analogy, but you know what I mean. If you own a Wii and you don't have Super Smash Bros., people are just going to look at you and say, but why on earth do you have a Wii then? And your only real excuse would be that you live alone. Because even more so than most fighting games, the focus is solely on multiplayer. It's alright alone, but it's great with 2 players, greater with 3, and absolutely brilliant, crazy fun with 4. Though I've never tried that as I have no other friends to game with. Anyway, if you have a Wii and friends, you must have this masterpiece.